Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
Hi, this is Kyle Higgins, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Diggity dank.
Hello and welcome back to another week of the Nightwing News. Crossover time. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, it is.
Hello, I'm Kristen.
And this week we'll be covering the Uncanny X-Men, what? And New Teen Titans.
Although, wait, before we do that, can I put in a plug for these two all ages books that I read? So this one's the older one. I've had this a while, but I've kept forgetting about it. No, just kidding. This one's the older one. And this one, no. This one is Batman's Mystery Casebook, and it's very cute because you get to solve crimes.
Oh, so.
And they're actually, I wouldn't say they're hard. They just require you to be observant. So I only got about half of them because I was impatient and didn't want to go back and look back through. But you learn a lot about solving crime.
Is it Dick Robin or Dick Nightwing?
I'm pretty sure it's Dick Robin. So
okay.
They never actually say Robin's name, but Barbara is definitely Batgirl. And it's a little Robin with no pants, so it's probably Dick. But yeah, it's cute. I recommend it. And like you said, you can practice your detective work. And then this is one that just came out earlier this month, or no, I think it came out sometime in March, middle of March. Bruce Wayne, not super. So this one is hilarious. It's definitely supposed to be goofy, and these are for like kids. So these are for like your son's age, not even the level below the Teen Titans one. So in this, for whatever reason, there's a school in Gotham Prep in this book. It's for people with powers, but Bruce goes there because his parents were the ones that paid for the school to be built. So when he doesn't like public school, they're like, yeah, okay, you can come to this one. But he doesn't have any powers. And so like everybody else is a middle schooler. And it's like Lex goes to school and Clark goes to school and Cyborg and Aquaman, who wants to be a marine biologist. And this I thought was funny. Bruce's only friend is the elementary school student, Dick Grayson, who apparently his gymnastic skills are so good they count as a superpower. So that's why he has to go to the school. But he doesn't look like Dick. He has kind of red hair.
Oh.
But yeah, that's Dick, and he's Bruce's friend and sort of becomes his sidekick. And Alfred is really funny in it because Bruce comes home and he's like, I'm going to be a vigilante. And Alfred's like, oh, really? And he says, I need you to help me. And he's like, and Alfred says, give me one good reason why I should help you. Bruce says, because it's your job. Alfred's, I suppose you're right. And then at one point, Alfred's like, man, other butlers just have to make tea and sandwiches. I have to keep Bruce from killing himself.
That sounds like regular Alfred. Jeez.
Yeah. But he's a little bit younger. Like, see, in this one, though, you can tell he's cool Alfred because his shirt's a little bit untucked. So he's edgier than regular Alfred. Also, since Bruce is younger, he's like, I'm going to have a Batmobile. Oh, yeah, and they kind of make fun of how Wayne Manor is built on top of a cave. Bruce is like, I know just where I'll have it. And Alfred's like, why did your family build a mansion over a cave? And why does it already have an elevator? And it's never answered. But he's like, I'm going to use this for my Batmobile. And Alfred's like, what's a Batmobile? And he says, a car designed to kind of look like a bat, but with cannons and stuff. Alfred, no, you're too young to drive. Bruce, okay, I could get a bat bicycle and trick it out with all sorts of weapons. Alfred, you're not putting weapons on any sort of vehicle. Bruce, I could get a bicycle and put some cool stickers on my helmet. Alfred, I suppose. So it's pretty funny.
It does sound cute. Yeah, I can't remember where, but I remember seeing that advertised somewhere.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get it, but then in the description, they were like, Bruce's only friend is that little kid, Dick Grayson. I was like, well, now I have to get it.
Sold.
Yep. The only thing yeah, Dick's kind of good. I mean, Dick, he's an acrobat, but he's a little bit. Everybody's definitely kind of different from how they were in it. Because like Clark's actually a little bit of a jerk in it, but he has a very tiny part. But yeah, it's pretty funny. It's good for a laugh.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it's not, like I said, it sounds cute.
So yeah, maybe you should get it and you and Luca can read it.
Yeah.
You can have book club together.
All right. All right. Are you ready to talk this crossover?
I'm ready.
Yeah, like I said, I'll read the synopsis and then, yes, we'll go through this. All right. So, yes, kids, Marvel and DC present featuring the Uncanny X-Men and New Teen Titans #1 from cover date January 1982. So we're not even at Nightwing yet. Apocalypse Now. Writer Chris Claremont, who was the X-Men writer at the time. So,
okay.
Yeah, penciler Walt Simonson, who's done a ton writing and art. Inker Terry Austin, colors Glennis Ween, letterer Tom Orzechowski, and editor Jim Shooter. So, yeah, I know this was like a Marvel production, and like I said, it was by the X-Men writer. So if the Teen Titans seem a little off, it is by the guy who's writing the X-Men at the time. So,
okay.
Yeah. All right. The image of their late teammate Phoenix appears in dreams to the X-Men and to Raven of the New Teen Titans, seeming to warn of a coming catastrophe. At the same time, Robin encounters the Terminator working in partnership with one of Darkseid's parademons. When Starfire reveals the history of the Dark Phoenix to her comrades, the Titans investigate the connection between Phoenix and the X-Men. They are mistaken for the mutant heroes by attacking parademons and captured, along with Professor X, by Darkseid, the demonic Lord of Apocalypse. Meanwhile, the Terminator, sent by Darkseid to gather Phoenix's residual energies from locales where she had expended a great deal of power, is able to defeat and capture the real X-Men. Drawing on their memories of their deceased partner in peril, Darkseid is able to use the gathered energies to bring Dark Phoenix back to life, after which he intends to use her power to transform Earth into a second apocalypse. Freed of their bonds with the evil god's departure, the Teen Titans and the X-Men meet for the first time and discover the abandoned Mobius chair of Metron of the New Gods, which they use to travel back to New York to fight a return match against the Terminator. They are then attacked in turn by Darkseid and Dark Phoenix, and in the ensuing battle, Raven and Professor X psychically weaken the Phoenix entity so that she is forced to possess the body of Cyclops to survive. Reunion with her former lover returns Phoenix's memory of her life as Jean Grey, and she turns on Darkseid in revenge for his having reawakened her from death. In a mammoth explosion, both Darkseid and Dark Phoenix vanish, and Metron regains the Mobius chair. And that's the short version, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, a lot of these crossovers, it's always weird, like the Marvel DC crossovers, because a lot of them, they're like, they play it like, both sides are always in the same universe. And it's like, no. Because there are a few where people
clearly they're usually not.
Yeah. I mean, there are a few where, someone crosses dimensions or something. But yeah, there's a lot of them, like, especially like street level characters. Like there's been like Batman and Spider-Man crossovers, Batman and Daredevil. And it's like, it's always like, oh, you're from Gotham. Oh, you're from New York. And it's just like, okay.
Yep.
All right. So, thoughts, questions? I know you have questions.
So, I actually didn't have as many questions as I thought I might, because even though I don't really know the X-Men that much, it was actually pretty good for people who don't know a lot. about these different things. I guess I was actually a little bit surprised that since this was Robin, I knew it was early 80s. I was a little bit surprised that the Dark Phoenix had already happened.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I was under the impression that it was more recent. I think because the movie was kind of more recent. So I thought maybe it was like in the 90s, but so Dark Phoenix actually happened before even like the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet stuff.
Oh yeah. That might have been, I'm trying to remember when Dark Phoenix. It might have even been like, it was either late, might have been around, I was gonna say late 70s, but it might have been like 1980 or something. Yeah. So this was not too long after Dark Phoenix. So, and again,
Yeah, because I guess most of the things I know about the X-Men, I vaguely know from when they had that X-Men cartoon in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Jean Grey was one of the main characters on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had never heard of the Dark Phoenix until there was a movie. So I assumed that it happened kind of recently. And then I read this and I was like, oh,
and then
it's been a long time.
And then a few years after this, it gets weird because it's the whole thing right leading up to Dark Phoenix, where it seems like Jean Grey got like these cosmic powers, but then went nuts and like destroyed a planet, which they mention here, and then she basically killed herself to make to save everyone. But what was it, like 86? I think they started X Factor, where they wanted to bring like the original 5 X-Men on their team, but like Jean was still dead. So at first they were going to replace her with someone else, but then they kind of did a retcon where they're just like, oh no, Phoenix was its own entity. It had taken Jean's place from the beginning. Jean was like in a cocoon in like the bottom of like the river in New York since then, and so she gets discovered there. So yeah. So
Interesting.
So that's weird. Where they're, I mean, well, they said.
So who are the original 5 X-Men then? Jean Grey, Cyclops,
Angel, Iceman, and Beast. So the only ones in this.
Not even Wolverine wasn't original?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because it's like the original 5, it's like all these 5 white kids, but then it's like when the second generation came in, that's when they went in like international, like Storm was from Africa, Nightcrawler was from Germany, Colossus was from Russia, Wolverine was, Wolverine's like,
he's from Canada.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if that's where he originally came. Yeah, because it wasn't until like the early 2000s Wolverine's like origin was kind of shrouded in mystery, and he had amnesia and stuff. So
classic comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Amnesia.
But no, I mean, this was big because these were 2 of like the biggest books at the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say 1982. These were the 2 biggest sellers, right?
Yeah, so like, I mean, this one was really a good fit because like X-Men were kind of like the closest thing Marvel had to the Titans. So, and again, you have such a big cast, it's hard. But I'm just like, do you think anyone like it really got like a big spotlight in this issue, like any of the heroes? Because it's of course we
maybe a little bit Cyclops, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but again, he was in love with Jean Grey, so
when he was like, possess my body.
And of course, I mean, Raven might have got a little bit just because of their psychic powers and stuff, but of course we didn't get enough Dick Grayson in here, so.
No, but he did have his big moment where his brains were like, you should suck up that energy beam to try to keep yourself alive. So he pulled it out in the clutch, man. So yeah, I did think that was very spot on, actually. I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah, I hadn't read this until like a few years ago. Like I found like the copy's not the best, but I found that in like a back issue bin. I was like, I'll give it a whirl. Because of course, Dick Grayson's in it. I'm a fan of the X-Men. I'm like, yeah, I'll read it. I mean, look how thick this is, and like back in '82, $2.
Well, mine's a reissue from '96, and it's only $3.95 then.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Can you imagine? That's like a price for a regular issue right now, almost.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
So I that page where they're all shaking hands and meeting. I guess they were trying to like compare certain members of the X-Men and the Titans. It's like, like Storm and Starfire shaking hands, Cyclops and Dick are shaking hands. I do find it funny where it's like, Beast Boy and Kitty Pryde are almost like, oh, she's almost my same age. Oh, he's almost my same, the same age as me.
Yeah, now I mean, that is kind of true to Beast Boy. Is that true to Kitty Pryde? Because I don't
Yeah,
really know her.
yeah, because
Okay.
this is when she was pretty new. Yeah, she was. I think at this point she might have only been like 13 or 14. So yeah. But of course, I mean, I know not too familiar, but I mean, Darkseid is DC, so you were kind of sort of familiar with Darkseid just as a DC character.
Yeah, well, and it was weird because a couple weeks ago, I watched Justice League Dark, I want to say, Apocalypse War, because I read something about it that they were like, tragedy almost befell Dick. And he didn't actually even have a speaking part, but he got dipped in the Lazarus pit and was kind of weird. But Batman, like when Darkseid captured the Justice League, he stuck Batman in this Mobius chair. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, Batman was in that chair.
Yeah. Oh god, that started the whole Three Jokers thing. Batman was in the chair, and I said, "What's the Joker's real name?" And it said, "Which one?" But they've kind of like dropped it. They kind of after that miniseries, they really haven't done anything with the Three Jokers, so that kind of went nowhere.
That's fair. One Joker's enough.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. We did mention Batman.
Batman, my favorite character.
Thank you, Ray.
So
yeah,
do the X-Men not really that much go for code names? Or does it depend? Because Kitty Pryde, that's actually her name, isn't it?
I mean, she's had several code names over the years, but it's like, well, I mean, nowadays there's so many mutants, and it's like, yeah, pretty much everyone's. What's it? In a lot of comics anymore, and a lot of characters don't have secret identities unless you're like the Bat Family or Spider-Man. It's like a lot of people don't even have secret, don't even care about secret identities anymore. But
She's like, do you have a real name, Changeling? Mine's Kitty. I'm like, oh, weren't you just saying you were Kitty Pryde? Like, that's not even different.
I know Kitty wasn't even a code name, but. And like back in the day, it was just like, oh, we don't want anyone to know who we are. Professor X will just wipe everyone's memory. And I'm surprised.
I think the one thing that annoyed me about this was how. So I guess they're introduced, and then Cyborg's not using their names, and Cyclops is like, "We have names, Cyborg. I wish you would use them." I was like, "Okay, dude, you just met these guys."
I know, and it's so weird because I know,
Slow
like,
your roll.
I know.
Why do you have to take it out on the one black guy?
What's so weird too, because like at one point Cyborg like says, "Oh, the muties," and like that's kind of like a slur in like for mutants.
Mm.
It's like we call them muties, and it's just like, really, Cyborg?
Yeah, so I guess if it's not, it feels like they didn't do the best job with Cyborg.
But like I said, again, this is like kind of like put out by Marvel, so if they didn't get the Titans correctly, it's kind of like it's people who really didn't work on them before, especially Claremont. Claremont, I don't think he ever wrote them before.
I mean, he seems to do an okay job on the other ones.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. At this point, Dick and Starfire are like dating, right? Are they?
I'm not sure. They might not be yet.
Okay, because I was gonna say
it kind of takes them a while.
Oh yeah. Because I was gonna say
Because it's like a Starfire is attracted to him right away, but he's kind of like no romance in the workplace kind of thing.
Because then Starfire kisses Colossus. She's like, "Oh, new language to learn," and Dick just seems all right with it. He's like, "Ah, sorry, Professor X." She gets carried away.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Walt Simonson who drew this, he did a lot of stuff, but he had like a really epic run everyone talks about on Thor in the 80s. Like he wrote it and drew it, and so Of course, his big Beast Boy looks like a huge dragon. That's going to look good.
Oh, my other thing was, so is that also kind of an X-Men thing? Because it didn't surprise me that the Titans, particularly Raven, were like, we can't attack them now. There's all these innocent people around. And then Professor X was like, well, sometimes things aren't ideal and people might die.
Sometimes, especially with Claremont, but I mean, that probably would have sounded better coming out of Wolverine's mouth, where it's just like, too bad.
Okay, because that felt really, I was slightly surprised by that, because not knowing that X-Men as well. Like, if someone in the Teen Titans had said that, I would have been like, what? Get out of here.
Well, that's like a Claremont thing too, because I swear, like every other story Claremont wrote with the X-Men, they'd stand around arguing over, oh, should we kill whoever? And it's just like, really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
Because that kind of surprised me. I was like, that feels not right, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess they didn't have enough time, enough page count, maybe. But I'm surprised they didn't like play up like Wolverine versus Deathstroke a little more. Because I could see nerds in '82 saying, "Oh no, Wolverine will beat Deathstroke. No, Deathstroke will beat Wolverine."
Well, and they feel very nice about it. They feel like they have a fun time fighting each other.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, they both have like healing factors, and Slade had, Slade took that serum. Wolverine's got his healing factor and indestructible bones.
And adamantium claws.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's a thick book, but it seems, I don't want to say like not a lot happens. A lot does happen, but I don't know. It just seems like there could be more.
I think, yes, I read it. I think it's good in that it's a fine story, but there's nothing that amazing that happens. Like, there weren't any panels that I was like, yeah, this is awesome, or anything super deep, or since it's a one-off, there isn't like, oh, I wonder if they're sowing little seeds of something that's gonna come before, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing with these crossovers, where it's like, you're not going to get anything that's going to have any lasting impact on any of the characters, and it's just like each side's going to be like, well, we don't want your characters look better at the expense of our characters, and vice versa. So
I mean, I did think they did a good job balancing it out. It didn't feel like the Titans looked worse compared to the X-Men, or the X-Men looked worse compared to the Titans. And overall, aside from, I felt like he messed up Cyborg a little bit, and then I was surprised that Professor X was like, some people might die. Overall, it felt like they were pretty spot on.
Yeah, there was. I didn't think there was any big discrepancies in characterization or anything.
Most people, but just remembering back, I mean, it was at least a year ago, maybe more, when we did the Captain America and Bucky with Batman and Robin. I like that one much better because that one was funnier, and I think that's what I liked.
Well, that one, I mean, that was like what set in like World War II. So I mean, and that one was so far out of continuity and stuff. I mean, this one, I think it's not in continuity, I guess, but like they were trying to keep them
right. It came out at the same time,
as close as they could.
Yeah, because this is when Deathstroke is still kind of new.
Yeah. But I mean, I was saying, I mean, at least it's Dick, I guess Dick did get some good stuff in here, because I mean, there were times in this book I forgot Donna and Wally were even here.
Yeah. Donna and Wally did not get. I feel like Starfire kind of got the most from the Titans, because with the kissing for the language, she was almost the comic relief. And then since she's so powerful, she was one of the only ones that could take on Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, and as an alien from another planet, she knew about Dark Phoenix more than the rest of them. Yeah.
But like I said, it was fine with Dick. You know, he got her Deathstroke. Okay, that introduces the Deathstrokes here. But really, his big thing was he was like, "Oh, I have an idea," and he convinces Dark Phoenix, "You need to absorb the Star Bolt or the bolt you shot in the Phoenix Bolt. Excuse me, Star Bolts or Starfires. You need to absorb the bolt so you have power." Because yeah, I mean, if he didn't convince her to do that, the world would have been screwed.
hmm
Because that bolt would have hit the piping hot core and magma everywhere. Ah!
I never thought of it before, but I guess it makes sense. Like when Wolverine and like Starfire basically, bonding over, oh, hey, sometimes I really want to let loose and like, beat the crap out of somebody. Oh, yeah, me too. My teammates have to hold me back too.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
But I mean, I guess they didn't think of this until the 90s because sometimes when they would do crossovers in the 90s, each company would put out like a different, like a story with the two sides. So it's like,
Be more like a two-shot.
yeah, but they were two separate stories. Like they would have put out this one, and then maybe like a little couple months after this, like they would have let Marv and George put out like a Titans X-Men book or something. That would have been nice. But okay, so but I said again. So you did kind of enjoy this for the most part?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I thought it was fine. I mean, it was nice to come together, and they didn't make any huge mistakes. That was good. Well, and then at the end it was explained that what's that guy's name who's in the chair? Mobius is the name of the chair, or is Mobius
Metron.
Oh yeah, he's the one that put the dreams in their heads, right? So that they would know it was coming.
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean, then they like wrapped it all up and stuff. So it was good they didn't leave any loose ends hanging, or anything like that. Yeah, I think it was fine. It was a well done story, but like you said, there were so many characters that they didn't really get a chance for everyone to shine, and nobody looked super bad. But some people didn't really get to do anything, and yeah, I don't know. It was weird. I agree with you that if a lot happened, but it also felt like a lot didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was thinking, what did I want to particularly talk about? Mostly, I was like, "Oh, hey, Dick was the one that had the good idea with this for her to get the Phoenix Bolt. 2 thumbs up. He looked good in it." And the rest, I was like, "Yeah, Darkseid does this bad thing, and Dark Phoenix comes, and they beat them, and the world is saved again."
Yeah, I wish they did more of these. I mean, now the present day they do, and I think ever since Disney bought Marvel, I don't think they've really done crossovers between Marvel and DC anymore. Like, like we need a Dick Grayson crossover with somebody.
Who would you want?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know why Daredevil keeps coming to mind. I don't know, just because they're both accurate. They're both pretty acrobatic. They both use the sticks. And just Scott McDaniel's drawing them both at points and hit both in the 90s. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know that sometimes there's been crossovers with Batman, and since Batman is such a looming presence in DC, I know it's tempting for people to be like, "Oh, cross him over with." But I think Nightwing and Spider-Man would be a better crossover than Spider-Man and Batman. I mean, I know Spider-Man and Batman has happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you want opposites, they're not exactly opposites, but I feel like there's a lot of similarities. Obviously lots of differences, but there are some similarities between Dick and Peter.
I'd be down for that. Yeah, no, I think that the Batman Spider-Man thing happens just because it's like, oh, two of the biggest names on each side. So
Yeah, exactly.
People could know.
Because I do think that Batman Captain America that made sense because Batman is a little darker, but this sort of like black and white, don't say bad words, like being kind of square and dad like. That is one aspect of
Yeah.
Batman. I mean, Captain America and Adam West Batman, that's a perfect combo.
Yes. Well, I think that part of that might have been too. It's like they kind of premiered around the same time because Batman was 39. I think Captain America was 1940. So, and again, it's like that's what I was going to say. If we did a crossover with Dick, maybe Bucky, maybe just because they were both kind
I
of like.
think Bucky would be a better crossover now with Jason.
Well, yeah, because after he
because they've had the same story. I died and then I got better.
Exactly, yeah, because they kind of happen around the same time, yeah. But dying and coming back, so, current Bucky, yeah, I'd be closer to Jason, but
well, and of course, the joke then also is that Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne, that Tony Stark is like an alcoholic Bruce Wayne. Although Tony Stark feels like maybe he'd be a little closer to Oliver Queen.
Maybe, yeah, but that's what I always say.
But Tony Stark's supposed to be really smart, and they usually don't portray Oliver Queen as that smart. Poor guy.
I mean, if they were matched the two universes together, that's what I always said. It's like Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark could probably be going to like college together or something, or
yeah, they'd probably have lots of pissing contests with each other,
or they'd be partners in something. I don't know, or competitors.
Well, and didn't you say Hawkeye is from the circus too?
Yes. Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, I guess Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah, because you can always say they ran across. If you do the whole, they're everyone's in the same universe, you could say they ran across each other when they were younger. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously Hawkeye and Green Arrow both do the arrow thing, but they've got different things.
Oh my God! Or it's like you do like a 3-way, or you do like 3, and it's like Hawkeye and Roy are like competing. They're like, I knew him best. I was his friend. Hawkeye's like, I was his friend as a kid. Well, I'm his friend now, so shut up.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Who would be a good pair up for Thor? Should he like get together with Wonder Woman or something?
Maybe.
Since they both got that God thing going on.
Yeah, maybe. That sounds like a good pick. A couple weeks ago.
Thor's family's more annoying than Wonder Woman's family.
Yeah, Odin's not a good dad at all.
And Loki's kind of a tedious brother.
Oh, yeah.
Too much mischief. Donna's a great sister.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Will and I
her politics is a pretty good mom. So they're winning.
Yeah. One of the
girl power, women win. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the last crossovers they did, Will and I covered it a couple weeks ago. They did like an Avengers Justice League. So that you want a lot of characters. That wasn't a lot of characters.
Yeah. Well, I assume that also, although it was a Batman and Captain America, I'm sure Superman and Captain America feels like pretty natural because they have a lot of similar personalities.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like fighting styles and stuff, like Captain America is close to Batman, but I'd say personality-wise, Captain America closer to Superman.
Right. That's why I said he works with Adam West Batman.
Yeah, I mean that would be an interesting one anyway. Just Captain America and Superman. They should have made that happen when they had the chance. I mean, we've done all kind. I mean, the '90s there was a bunch of them. Green Lantern, Silver Surfer. Superman met the Fantastic Four.
But yeah, this one, the X-Men Teen Titans. This is the only one that Dick's been a part of, isn't it?
Yeah. Because even like they did like a Marvel versus DC in the mid '90s, and that's what I was gonna say. Dick really didn't have a big part in that.
Yeah, I think there's an advertisement for it in my reprint, and he's not pictured. It looks like Tim Robbins pictured, but I mean, I don't know if he was in it or not.
I mean, here we go. Yeah,
DC
the only like real mention I remember. Hold on. Image. Hold on. Let me get an image, and I'm gonna share it with you here in a second. There was like a real quick mention of him in like the Marvel versus DC. Like partway through, they did a thing where like the two universes got mashed up, and like characters would get like mashed together. You know, like two different versions, or like there was a Wolverine Batman guy called Dark Claw who was running around, and oh, here we go. But then meanwhile, I believe this came up in Bruce Wayne, Agent of Shield. They combined Nightwing with Moon Knight, and you got, I believe it's Moonwing. Yes,
Moonwing.
yes, there he is. Yep.
Nice.
So that's Dick and Moon Knight. Yeah, that's the only thing I remember for
They really couldn't make it. I mean, I guess they had to do that because I mean, Moon Knight and Nightwing. It could have just been like KNIGHT Wing.
I know. Again, he would even play like a huge part. It was like a one issue thing, and he would even play like the biggest part in it. But yeah, Dick really hasn't been a big part of like a crossover. So, well, besides this one, that's what I'm saying. I wish they
Fair
would
enough.
do.
That brings me back though. One other funny thing
Yes.
in Bruce Wayne, not super. He makes his costume and he's trying to get people to call him Batman, but everybody's confused about what his costume is because it's not very good. And they're like, why are you dressed up like a ferret?
Yeah. Like I said, good art. Again, Walt Simonson.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad saying that I didn't like it was good and solid, but I didn't love it.
It's so weird because except for like that Marvel, well, I was gonna say the Marvel DC thing, and then the Avengers and the Justice League one, like most of them are always like one oversized issue and done like this. I wish we would do more miniseries. Well, when they did them, they don't do them anymore. But if they would have done more miniseries, like I mean, you could have spread this still probably 2, 3, 4 issues.
I mean, if somebody wrote it nowadays, it'd probably take a whole year.
True. True. Yeah, and again, I don't know what kind of legwork goes into because you got to get both companies in on it, and I don't know. And again, the whole team was Marvel on this thing, so it's like I don't know how much did they get permission? Be like, can we do this? Can we do this? But yeah, no, it's just supposed to be straight fun because again, and that doesn't affect anyone's continuity in the long run, and it doesn't get mentioned in their own book, so yeah. All right. But again, I hate.
I'd say B.
A B.
Yeah, because like it was good. It was good. There's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't love it.
Yeah, no. Again, except for again, it's good. It's a well enough story. It's just like nobody really gets a chance to shine here. Maybe just because there's so many characters. That's what I said. I like the ones where it's like 2 solo characters or less amount of characters because people get to shine more. Because even like you said, that Batman Captain America one, it was just basically the 2 of them and Robin and Bucky. So more chance for develop the characters and stuff. But yeah, like fans love these things, but then you figure it that it's pretty much you're printing a big advertisement, because if you're reading Titans back in the day, and they were like, "Hey, good, come check out the X-Men."
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, it didn't, and maybe it's because I know a little bit about these, and so I'm not just a totally unknown reader coming in. But I feel like reading that story, it didn't make me want to read. I feel like whichever one was the other side, it didn't make me want to pick their comic up.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it was a good story, but it wasn't exciting. I think for me, it didn't have enough humor. And so there weren't enough little non beating the people up or, non
Mm-hmm.
superhero, personal interest things that I wasn't really that interested in. I wasn't really that interested in the X-Men.
Yeah, and again, Claremont was doing good work. So yeah, like you said. And again, look at the other side. If this was like your first exposure with the Titans, would this have piqued your interest for Titans either? No.
No.
Yeah, I think that this is more for people who read one or both, and it's
I would say about the only thing is maybe if I were like, oh yeah, Raven, that's cool. Or potentially if I were a horny teenage boy in the 80s and I read this and I was like, oh, that's Starfire. I need to get that comic.
yeah.
But yeah.
But
Like
yeah,
I said, it's not that it was bad. It's just what you said. There's just so much going on that nobody really gets a chance to shine. So I felt like I didn't know. I didn't really connect with anybody in there in the sense that, oh, I really like this character. I want to read more about them.
and again, I wish they had let DC do their Titans X-Men's book too, because they would have got George to draw it. I mean, king of the crowd scene, so George, and George had worked at Marvel and DC, so he pretty much has drawn everybody. But yeah, like that Avengers Justice League we covered, that was George, and basically drew everyone who's ever an Avenger or part of the Justice League.
That's cool.
All right. Anything else on this?
I think that's everything.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, like you said, I mean, it's a serviceable enough story. It's just nobody, really doesn't do anything for any one character.
Like I said, it's a B. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were gonna write a comic, I would hope I could write one that well, in that there are no really huge holes in the plot. Everything wraps up nicely. People are in character, but it didn't amaze me. So it's a B.
Yeah, and again, these things were rare, so it's basically just like, okay, at this point, they hadn't met that many crossovers. Like, hey, kids, this franchise is meeting this franchise. All right. I don't know why I opened the schedule. I know it's coming next. All right, kids, next week, yes, another new week. We're going to be covering the new issue, Nightwing 103, and Titans will be back. So we'll have a review of the new Titans episode. Dude, where's my Gar?
Yes. I've been waiting for this episode ever since you told me the title. This is going to be the best episode of the season.
Yes.
Even if it's terrible, it has the best title. Best episode coming up. Yeah.
All right, kids. So I know Kristen's excited. All right. So, yeah. So send us your. And again, what's that drop? Thursday. So we'll be recording the week after. So yes. So if you have thoughts on Nightwing 103, that one will be a little closer. But if you have thoughts on that new Titans episode, email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
Yeah, if you know where Gar is, let us know.
Yes. All right. And of course, you can find everything Capes and Lunatics episodes, social media, merchandise, the Patreon, everything's at tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. And of course, if you're looking for something to read that it has depth and substance, go pick up Dick Grayson Boy Wonder right now on Amazon. Again, whether you're a new fan or you think you know Dick, you don't know Dick. Remember those ads for Grayson? Yes. So no matter what level of fandom you're at, you will find something in Dick Grayson Boy Wonder for you. You will learn something. This educator makes sure you learn something. All right. All right, kids. Thank you for joining us. Maybe we got some X-Men fans this week. But yeah, next week Nightwing 103, and the new. Finally, Titans is back. We'll be back with probably the best title of the series so far.
That's right.
Yeah, this is we're only got a couple episodes of Titans left, then it's over. Come on, HBO Max. Where's our Dick Grayson solo series?
I don't know. It sounds like they don't have. I mean, obviously they do, but the way they're canceling stuff, it's like they don't have two nickels to rub together. I mean, they haven't really announced any new DC shows for HBO Max, have they?
Mm-mm.
I mean, just another episode, just another season of Harley Quinn.
Yeah. All right, kids. Come back next time. Remember, join us same wing time.
Same Wing channel.
See Nightwing News.